Did you know that 55% of readers will abandon a book within the first 50 pages if the plot isn't engaging? That's right, half of your audience could be gone before your story even begins to unfold. But here's the catch: most writers struggle with creating a good plot. It's not about having a cool idea, it's about how you tell it. A plot can either make or break your story. A bad plot. It's like setting out on a road trip with no map, no direction, no excitement. A great plot. It's a journey with purpose, twists, and emotional stakes that keep readers glued to every word. So, how do you make sure your plot is one your audience can't put down? In this video, we're diving deep into the key differences between bad plots and good plots. You'll learn how to avoid common mistakes, inject emotion into your story, master pacing, and craft twists that leave your readers shocked. Ready to turn your plot from drab to fab? Let's get started. Chapter 1: The Lost at Sea Syndrome. Navigating through a bad plot. A bad plot can feel like you're stuck in the middle of the ocean with no compass. It lacks direction, leaving the audience uncertain about the story's purpose. You might feel like your characters are just wandering aimlessly with no goal, and that's when the story loses its grip. The first key strategy here is having a clear goal. Whether it's an external quest or an internal change, every plot needs a destination. It's what drives the narrative forward. Studies show that most readers lose interest when the plot meanders without a purpose. According to a 2019 study by the University of California, a clear plot structure keeps readers engaged 30% longer than disjointed ones. Think about stories like The Hunger Games, where Katniss's goal is clear: survival and protecting her sister. Every action she takes, every decision she makes, is driven by this central focus. One trick is to break your plot into acts or milestones. In Act 1, introduce the problem. In Act 2, the character struggles. In Act 3, they find a solution. This simple structure works for nearly every type of story and helps keep things moving. If you're struggling with direction, ask yourself, what does the character want? Why do they want it? Answering this question can reveal the core of your plot. Keep that central goal in mind as you write, and let it guide every twist and turn. In short, a plot without a clear goal is like setting off on a road trip with no map. Sure, you might drive around for a while, but you'll never get anywhere meaningful. So, make sure your plot stays focused, and your readers will thank you. Chapter 2: The Too Good to Be True Trap. Avoiding overused tropes. We've all seen it. The bad guy is too evil to be believable, or the hero has no flaws. This is where bad plots can really fall flat. Using overused tropes might seem like an easy shortcut, but it often makes your story feel hollow. According to a 2020 survey by Bookish, 75% of readers said they prefer unpredictable plots over those that rely on cliches. So, how do we avoid this pitfall? The first strategy is to create multi-dimensional characters. Instead of relying on stereotypes, give your characters both strengths and flaws. Think about the complexity of characters like Walter White from Breaking Bad. His transformation from teacher to drug kingpin is believable because of his human contradictions. Another great strategy is to subvert expectations. Take a common trope and turn it on its head. For example, instead of having a damsel in distress, make her the one saving the day. This gives the plot a refreshing twist that grabs attention. In fact, when The Sixth Sense was released, one of its main twists broke traditional storytelling expectations, surprising audiences in a way few films had before. Subverting common tropes isn't just about shocking the audience, it's about creating a plot that feels fresh and exciting. To avoid cliches, spend time thinking about what's different in your story. What can you do to make the characters or plot unique? Taking time to explore new angles will make your plot stand out and keep your readers hooked. If you're enjoying these tips so far, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with more writing advice and storytelling secrets. Chapter 3: The Antagonist That's Not There. When conflict disappears. One of the biggest mistakes you can make when writing a plot is neglecting conflict. Without a strong antagonist or obstacle, your story can fall apart. Conflict is what drives the plot. It creates tension and stakes, making the audience care about the outcome. Without it, your plot can feel flat and uninspired. The strategy here is simple: define your conflict clearly. It doesn't always need to be a traditional villain. Sometimes, the antagonist can be an internal struggle, like a character battling their own fears. Take The Great Gatsby, where Gatsby's main conflict isn't just Tom Buchanan, it's his unrelenting desire for a future with Daisy that's impossible to achieve. According to a 2021 study published in the Journal of Narrative Theory, stories that have a clearly defined antagonist or obstacle are 40% more likely to engage the audience. The conflict keeps readers hooked because it creates suspense and makes them wonder, how will this end? It's important to build layers of conflict. The protagonist might have external conflicts, fighting an enemy or problem, and internal conflicts, struggling with their own fears or desires. Think of the Harry Potter series, where Harry faces both external threats like Voldemort and internal challenges like his own self-doubt. One way to keep the conflict engaging is to raise the stakes. What happens if the protagonist fails? What's the worst-case scenario? The higher the stakes, the more invested the audience becomes in the outcome. In summary, without conflict, your plot will feel empty. Define your antagonist, raise the stakes, and create tension. This will give your plot purpose and keep your readers on the edge of their seats. A plot without conflict is like a game without rules, it simply doesn't work. If you're finding this helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the final chapters where we'll explore even more ways to master storytelling. Chapter 4, From Drab to Fab. Injecting emotion and stakes into your plot. One of the most noticeable signs of a bad plot is the lack of emotional depth. If your audience doesn't feel anything, your plot will fall flat. Without emotion, even the most exciting events seem meaningless. This is where raising the stakes becomes crucial. When the stakes are high, people care more about the outcome. For example, think about the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Frodo's journey isn't just about getting a ring to Mordor, it's about saving Middle-earth. The emotional weight of his mission drives the plot forward. Studies show that stories with high emotional stakes are more likely to be remembered. According to a 2018 study by Harvard University, emotions are the most powerful factor in creating lasting memories. The more emotional your plot, the more invested your audience will become. The trick is to create stakes that matter to the characters. The more a character has to lose, the more the audience will root for them. Consider the plot of The Fault in Our Stars. The central emotional stake isn't just the characters' struggle with cancer, it's their fleeting time together and the desire to live fully despite their illness. This personal connection makes the plot emotionally powerful and relatable. Tip: keep asking yourself, what does the character care about? What do they stand to lose? If the answer isn't significant, your plot needs a boost. Raising the stakes isn't just about big events, it's about making sure those events matter to the characters on a deep, emotional level. Another strategy is creating empathy. If the audience can't relate to the characters or their struggles, the plot becomes meaningless. Take The Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith's character, Chris Gardner, struggles through poverty and homelessness, but because we see his fight for his son's future, we empathize. When writing, remember to focus on the emotional journey as much as the physical one. The combination of both will bring your plot to life and keep the audience engaged. Without emotional stakes, your plot will lack depth, and your audience won't be as invested. Chapter 5, The Too Much, Too Fast Pitfall. Mastering the art of pacing. Bad plots often suffer from pacing problems. Some stories feel rushed, with important moments glossed over too quickly, while others drag on too long. The key to a good plot is pacing, knowing when to slow down and when to speed up. This balance keeps the audience engaged and builds tension. The first strategy is to establish a rhythm. Think of pacing like the tempo of a song. Too fast, and it's chaotic. Too slow, and it's boring. A well-paced plot moves through scenes at a speed that feels natural for the story. In The Hunger Games, the pacing slows down in moments of personal reflection, but it picks up during action scenes to create suspense. This rhythm keeps the story from feeling too rushed or too dragged out. One way to control pacing is through scene structure. Think about how each scene drives the plot forward. Is the scene necessary? Does it add tension or reveal something important about the character? A 2017 study by the University of Oxford found that scenes designed to create tension, especially those with a cliffhanger or mystery, are more engaging and keep the story moving forward at an ideal pace. A good tip for pacing is to use contrast. When you introduce a quiet, reflective scene, follow it with something fast-paced to break up the flow. In Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, there are moments of calm before the action ramps up again. These moments of contrast prevent the plot from feeling monotonous and help the audience stay invested. Don't overwhelm your audience with too much too quickly. Just like in a conversation, give the audience time to process what's happening before introducing the next big event. Rushed storytelling can leave your readers exhausted and confused. Chapter 6: Twists that work. Crafting surprises that feel earned, not forced. Plot twists can be a powerful tool when used correctly. However, when done poorly, they feel like cheap gimmicks that undermine the rest of the story. A bad plot twist is one that feels forced or out of place. It's crucial to make sure that every twist in your plot is earned. The twist should make sense within the context of the story, even if it surprises the audience. According to a 2022 survey by Screencraft, 60% of readers said that an unexpected but well-executed plot twist makes them more likely to recommend a story. The best twists don't just shock, they add a deeper layer of meaning to the plot. For instance, the twist in The Sixth Sense didn't just surprise the audience. It changed the entire context of the story, making us rethink everything we had seen. Tip: to make a twist work, plant clues early in the story. Foreshadowing is the key to making a twist feel earned. If you drop small hints along the way, the twist will feel like a natural progression rather than a random shock. In The Empire Strikes Back, we get hints about Darth Vader's true identity long before the famous "I am your father" moment. This twist hits harder because we see the signs leading up to it. The key is to maintain consistency with the story, even when introducing surprising elements. Another strategy is to make sure the twist changes the character's journey. A twist that only affects the plot is interesting but doesn't have the same emotional impact as one that changes the character's path. In Gone Girl, the plot twist forces the protagonist to re-evaluate his entire life, leading to a deep transformation. This type of twist doesn't just surprise, it forces both the character and the audience to rethink everything. When using plot twists, avoid making them outlandish or forced. They should feel inevitable once revealed, even if they're unexpected. A good twist will leave the audience saying, "I should have seen that coming," even though they didn't. In conclusion, plot twists are a powerful storytelling tool when done right. By planting clues, staying consistent, and ensuring the twist impacts the character's journey, you'll keep your plot surprising without losing the audience's trust. A well-crafted twist will elevate your plot, leaving readers thinking about your story long after they've finished. If you found these strategies helpful, be sure to subscribe for more insights and tips to level up your storytelling.